¿Cómo estás? Bienvenido o bienvenida a este video. Hello and welcome. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Nate and I learned Spanish 8 years ago in high school now. And I make fun videos in Spanish teaching you more about Spanish or just making silly videos speaking with random people from all over the world in Spanish. And today's video is going to be a little different. I feel like I say that in every video, but you know what? I don't care. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience living in Seville, Spain. Now, if you didn't know, I lived in Spain for 3 months right after I graduated from high school. I was in my first semester of community college, and I thought it would be kind of interesting for some of you to hear about my experience. Maybe you thought about traveling to Spain or just traveling to a Spanish-speaking country in general. And I think that maybe my experience could be valuable to you. And if you're a native Spanish speaker, this also just might be something fun to listen to what it's like to be a foreigner and live in a different country. So, why did I go to Spain? Well, originally I had thought it would be cool to study abroad, but one of my teachers really sold me on this idea when I was still in high school. So I was a senior in high school and I had this awesome friend named Kelly. And Kelly's mom was a professor at my local community college. She was a Spanish professor. And every day, my senior year of high school, more or less, I would give Kelly a ride home from school. And I started to, get to know her and her family better. And, she started telling me, wow, Nate, you speak such great Spanish. You got to talk to my mom. My mom would absolutely love you. So I got to talking with her mom, who is, I believe, I don't know if she's full Argentinian, but I know she's at least half. Anyway, she speaks a beautiful, more Argentine Spanish. And she said, wow, Nate, your Spanish is great. You need to study abroad. If anyone's going to study abroad, it's got to be you. And I thought, yeah, that sounds great. I think it'd be really cool. So what I did is I looked into the program options at my community college. And I started saving. So I worked at a frozen yogurt store and I basically didn't spend any money. I only spent my tips, which was probably like $50 to $60 a month. I was a total cheapskate, and I didn't spend any of my money. And all the money I was making from my paycheck, I would just put in the savings account for my trip. And so that's kind of how it went. And actually, I was so fortunate enough to get to go to Sevilla because a lot of people, when they think of Spain, they think of Barcelona or Madrid. And while these two cities are amazing, there's something about Sevilla that is just so encapsulating. And honestly, when I think of Spain, I think of Sevilla. It's like the flamenco dancers, the kind of the food, just the lifestyle. It's like very romantic. The architecture is beautiful. The weather can be quite hot there, but also, very nice. And it's just, horse-drawn carriages. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place. Some really, just seriously incredible places in Sevilla. So if you're thinking about going to Spain, definitely check out Sevilla. But yeah, so that's essentially how it kind of happened. So then I kind of got into the program and I'd saved up my money. And I didn't know really anyone. I think I knew maybe 1 or 2 people out of, I want to say, the 30 that went. And actually, it was funny. I was really worried because I was going to stay in a homestay with a roommate. And I didn't know my roommate at all before I got to the airport. So I literally met him at the airport. And, I had seen some photos of him and we had this private Facebook group. And he was kind of this really tall, kind of very stern, stoic looking guy, shaved head. He was like a pilot. I'm like, oh my gosh, kind of intimidated by this guy. I hope he's not a total jerk. And he just instantly became my best friend. He's still my best friend to this day. Anyway, so that was really cool. So I met my roommate Oliver in the airport. And then, yeah, I just got to meet a bunch of incredible people. And the homestay that I stayed with, Mama Carmen was her name. She was amazing. I still send her some messages on WhatsApp every now and again. She actually didn't know that she was going to be hosting Oliver and I. It was kind of a last minute thing because Oliver and I had both put on our little profiles that we were vegetarian. And so it kind of worked out that she had to learn kind of how to cook for us. And we were spoiled rotten. I remember coming home and telling my mom, wow, I was spoiled. You're telling me now I have to do my own laundry? Oh, this stinks, But yeah, we were totally spoiled. I always told her, I was like, ay, Mama Carmen, como somos tan mimados. We're so spoiled. But it was amazing. And we became really close with Mama Carmen. And actually, it was funny because during the trip, a lot of the people in our large group, started to know, about our homestay and how we kind of lucked out. We got the best homestay because we became like best buddies. We'd go everywhere together, and we had like an awesome host mom to take care of us. And honestly, she was more of a host grandma, so she would let us do whatever we wanted. She would like cook and clean. I mean, seriously, we were living like kings. So we lived in like a tiny apartment. She had lived there for quite a long time. She still lives there. I want to say at least 20 some years she's been there, in what's called the side of Sevilla that's called Triana, which we were very proud of to be from Triana, because it's kind of like the OG part of Sevilla, if you will. But yeah, we learned a lot about Seville and its history, or Sevilla. We had classes. I want to say I had classes maybe 3 to 4 times a week. And it was honestly very relaxed. I've spoken about this in one of my previous videos, how a lot of students did struggle in our Spanish classes simply because they didn't have a basic foundation of the language, and the teachers were only speaking to us in Spanish. Now, I've said before in my videos that while immersion is extremely powerful and effective, it's going to be quite difficult and confusing for you to immerse yourself in the language if you have no prior knowledge. Of course, like a baby, right? They have no prior knowledge going into learning a language. They're just kind of immersed, and it just kind of happens. But the reality is, since you're most likely an adult, or we'll say older, because you have the opportunity to learn things like grammar and flashcards and all that fun stuff, combining that with immersion is the most powerful way to go. But a lot of my peers did struggle because they lacked a basic foundation in Spanish. So when they were being talked at in fluent Spanish, they were like, what the heck is going on, Nate? Please help us. So anyway, so that was great. Class was great. I had a multitude of classes. I had a geology class, I had a Spanish class, I had a history of Spain class. It was fascinating. We learned all about the Spanish government, the rule of Franco and all of that. And we just ate a lot of good food. It was pretty cool. One day we did like a bar hopping event with our professors, which was pretty awesome. But yeah, it's cool if you have the opportunity to travel, especially if you're younger and you can do a study abroad. I totally recommend it. I know it can be quite expensive, so if that is, a limitation for you, no worries. But I would say it is an absolutely incredible and humbling experience, because the reality is, when are you going to get to travel with a bunch of young, awesome, cool people in a foreign country and live there with them for a few months? I mean, it's a pretty amazing experience, and you really do develop some deep relationships. To this day, even 3 years later now, I still hang out with a good amount of people from that trip. We kind of all, keep in touch and kind of feel each other what's going on with our lives. So it's a really incredible experience. And even, besides studying abroad, just to go travel into another country, Spanish-speaking country, is amazing. I always say, I think if you want a more meaningful travel experience to take along a loved one or someone that you know well that you can go with, you don't have to go for months and months. You could just go for a week or two and still have an amazing time. But it is really incredible how your Spanish will improve being in an immersed environment where everyone is speaking the language. I remember, last night I was looking at videos of me speaking Spanish from the trip, and I was like, oh my gosh, like my accent is so different now. Oh man, la última vez caminando en el puente, ¿cómo sientes? ¿Triste o qué?
No.
Pero ¿cómo sientes?
Muy triste.
Yo también. La última vez en el puente de Triana, porque nos vamos a California mañana por la mañana. Es un poco triste, pero también emocionante. Es como un poco de los dos. I was talking like the people from Andalusia, which is kind of the southern region of Spain where we were, and be like, oh, tío, estamos en el puente. Like, that's kind of how they talk. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of my experience. It was absolutely incredible. Got to see beautiful places, go amazing places, got to meet amazing people. So it was just a really great experience. So if you're thinking about maybe studying abroad or just traveling to a foreign country, I highly recommend it. If you have any questions for me about traveling to Seville or Spain or just in general, feel free to leave me a comment on this video. I love talking about travel. As you probably know, I've been all over, right? I've been to Mexico and multiple places in Europe. So I've been all over, and I love talking about travel, and I would love to talk with you about travel. So you can ask me any questions, ask me more about my experience living in a foreign country. But that's kind of the gist of it. Was just kind of having lots of fun. Of course, we had to do our normal mundane tasks like homework and go to school and whatnot. But it just made those moments of free time so much sweeter. And it was fascinating to learn about the culture and get to meet new friends and people and hear other people's stories. So anyways, I don't want to drag this video on. I really appreciate you watching it. If you did, please like and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. And I know this video was fully in English, but I figured for many of you who are looking to travel to Spain, you might be doing so to go practice or better your Spanish. So I thought I would do this in English. But yeah, like I said, any questions, leave me a comment. Also, if you want to learn Spanish with me, you can check out my website, www.spanishwithnate.com. Bueno, muchas gracias y espero que tengas muy bonito día y que estés muy bien. Adiós.